Hey Xylo, how are you?
Great, Nick. Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I mean, it's a very low-key show, but very nice to have that option, not to be running around like a nutter. So, you're here for MPW. So, can you tell us a little bit about what that is and what you're representing while you're here?
Of course. So MPW is Music Production for Women, and we are a teaching platform aimed to empower more women into production and music tech. And it was basically just started because it was something that I wished was there when I started producing music, and just to have a safe space and somewhere that's supportive to ask any questions that sometimes as women we feel like maybe we've asked a stupid question or something like that, to make sure that people don't feel that way. Yeah.
So, how do you help? I mean, what's the program? What's the sort of process for helping women get into the industry?
Yeah, so like helping people take their first steps. I think sometimes people feel like you need a bunch of stuff, like a lot of gear and things to get started, but we just show them that you don't. And we have like a 1-year program that goes through weekly classes on different things around production, and then going a little bit into mixing, a bit of songwriting, and just kind of all of the little bits of skills that independent artists need around this space that sometimes they don't know that they need.
So, I mean, it sounds like just a general useful skill set, no matter what your gender anyway, so.
Yeah, oh, totally. And like we are music production for women, but we have had some like men join our courses, which I actually love because I feel like it's important to talk about this all together.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking sort of before this. I mean, it's not really about the kind of why it's bad or why things have been difficult, but I mean, what led you to do this yourself? I mean, is there a path that you took to kind of to get here?
Well, I started as a singer-songwriter, and I was always only working with male producers because that's all the option that I had. And unfortunately, the experiences I had were not the best.
It's a common thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. And at the time, I was like, oh, maybe it's just me. Maybe I've just had a kind of one-off experience. But then being in this space, it's just unfortunately too common a thing. So I realized, okay, if I'm having this experience and learning to produce really helped change that for me, then I need to help other women do a similar thing. So that's how it started.
So what's the process? Do people kind of sign up, or I mean, how do people get involved in what you're doing?
Yeah, so we have a few different free events throughout the year. So the next one is coming up in 2 weeks in London, and usually at those times we open up enrollments to join into the course. So right now it's closed, but it will open up in 2 weeks' time. So if you go onto our website, musicproductionforwomen.com, you'll see when that opens up, and you can join the mailing list and things like that.
Is it a paid service, or is it a membership? How does it work?
So it is a paid service, so you can do the 1-year program. There are like monthly installment payments, or you can just pay up front or whatever. So there is that, and then with our free events that we have throughout the year, even if you don't decide to do the course with us, I think that's a really nice space to get introduced to it, meet some lovely people and some great role models.
So do you favour certain technologies? I mean, are you more Ableton, or are you more Cubase, or are you more, what's the sort of path in?
Mainly Ableton, because that's what I started with, and I think it's great, especially like I wanted to be completely self-sufficient, including playing live, and I feel like Ableton's kind of geared for that really well. So Ableton, and then everything else I guess is whatever you like with the gear and things, fairly universal.
So, I mean, I think the thing is like we said, the democratisation, loads of people are getting into music, and there are a lot of, well, were pre-COVID, a lot of physical music technology courses which encourage lots of people to get into stuff. I mean, do you think that there's more interest? I mean, and how do you reach the people that you're trying to reach?
Yeah, well, definitely I think there has been increased interest like after COVID and during COVID and things, mainly because people realise that, I can do this from home. And so we teach predominantly online, especially because a lot of our students are working full time and doing a bunch of other things. So we had to make it in a way that's going to be easy for them to come to the classes and get what they need to out of it. So online is how we mainly reach people. Yeah.
So you've got plans for world domination. I mean, how many teachers have you got? Have you how many courses can you run?
Yeah. So definitely, I think as the founder, I'm like, oh, how can we make this as big as possible? Because my biggest goal is for any woman around the world that wants to get into this space, for them to know that we're here for them. You know, even if they just follow us on social media and like enjoy and get involved in our content, but for them to just know we exist for them.
I suppose ultimately it would be like, well, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, whatever, man or woman, just come along. I mean, if it's an inclusive enough space, then it would be fine.
Exactly, totally right.
Where do people mostly come in from? Is it songwriters or production? What are they looking for mostly?
I think a lot of people are like songwriters that are, making their own music, and like singer-songwriters, and want to start doing this for themselves but are not sure where to start. So that seems to be who we get most of.
So like first offenders, I suppose, people who've never done it before, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And do you find that people are kind of quite surprised at how easy it is to get started? Once you get over the basic terms and
I feel like this is what I say all the time. I'm like, it's great after you get over that first kind of hill. So I think there is a bit of barrier at the start where people are like, oh, this is so hard. But if they just push through that a little bit, then they start really enjoying it, I think, yeah.
And have you had any success stories? Have you had anybody go on to greater things?
Yeah, actually, like one of our students, she's so incredible. Her name's Kelly. She's actually teaching one of our classes coming up, but she is a mum and like kind of doesn't fit the typical producer mold at all. And she is now running like workshops on sound design. She's been hired to do like sound for film, to do like installations for different museums and things, and like that's what she's doing now, and doing it very successfully. So I'm just so happy to see that, kind of see it being created from the ground up.
So if people want to get involved, where do they go?
So musicproductionforwomen.com, and all our events will be there. Follow us on Instagram. We do a lot of stuff there as well, just at Music Production for Women, in one word. And yeah, get in touch even if you just want to say hi. We love hearing from people.
Thanks very much.
Cool, thank you.